Hey everybody, and welcome back to the On the Map Challenge on Alma, Missouri. Today is November 3rd, and we are starting our soybean harvest today. As you can see, I'm back in the combine. Again, we just got done with all of our corn harvest, and now we have put the head on for soybeans, and as you can see, we are getting these done as fast as we can. We do have quite a few acres of soybeans to knock out also, so we are running a little bit behind on the schedule this year. I mean, as you can see, it's already the end of November and we're just now starting soybeans, so they are a little bit past ready to harvest, but it shouldn't hurt anything because we're yielding pretty dang good. Combine's working like a dream and we're getting this done. Also, as you can see, we are going to be baling the soybean straw on some of the fields, not all of them, just mainly our smaller fields. We're going to bale the soybean straw and end up selling it or keeping it for bedding for some of our cows, but most likely we're going to be selling it just like the wheat straw. And this is actually one of our, well, I say new fields, but I don't think we've ever harvested on this field, and we've also, recently combined these two together. And then across the dirt road is our it's our brand new field right here. It's the newest field we own. This one we've had for a little while, and if you know, we cut a crop of alfalfa off of this field, I believe, and well, now we've plowed it up, combined this field and this one all the way back in there, and we threw soybeans on it. I did 2 headland passes, and we checked out the yield, make sure everything was working right. And now we got the GPS going as per usual, and we are getting this done. So at the end of the field, we do have the semi and the tractor with the wagons. And surprisingly enough, Owen is actually in the tractor today. He's running the grain cart. I believe it's the first time he has ever run the grain cart, so that is actually really cool. But as soon as we get this field done, we're probably going to have to get Bill and Todd down here to take the semi and the tractor back, because they're not down here currently. They're back at the farm because they're putting the duals back on the 8110, and I will explain why, because it's a little bit of a process. Because we're still harvesting so late in the year, and tillage is still needing to be done, we are most likely going to be taking the 9320 off the grain cart for a little while, and we're going to let it run the ripper, and then just until we get done harvest, we're going to have the 8110 on the grain cart, carting, so that we don't slack behind on harvest, so that we can basically multitask, if you will. But we also have to spread lime on our fields, so I'm not sure how that is going to work, because like if I come in here, you can see some of these fields like number 35, 38 don't really need it. But fields like, let's see, 33 is one of our new ones. 37 could use some, and then these two right here, it could use a little bit of some lime because it's in the medium range, about 65%. So we're gonna have to figure out how we're going to do lime this year, because I have not decided if we're just going to use our spreader or we're going to let the co-op spread it, because this co-op in town that has just recently moved here this year, they're getting a lot bigger. They've got some of those self-propelled spreaders that you can pay them to come out and spread for you, so we might be doing that to take some of the weight off our hands this year. They would be more expensive, and I'm not sure how the total would come out to be, but we might end up trying it, though we also have that nice new spreader, and I think we should use it if we've got it. So yeah, it's a nice morning. It's about to be afternoon, well, noon, not afternoon yet. It's still kind of early in the day. We came out here early, we checked the moisture levels, threw the combine on. Bill and Todd went back to the farm, and ever since about 10:30 I've been in the combine. Had to radio Owen, tell him to come unload me. I was getting a little full, but this marks the halfway point of this field, I believe. We're getting close to being done. Like I said, when we were harvesting wheat, this header just knocks it out completely. It's so much bigger than the previous ones we've used. And also, this finally marks the end of corn drying this year. We got it all put up in the bins. We got all of it dried. It's all at a good moisture. We got the fans running on the bins, and the dryer is shut off and done for the year. Now we do lose a little bit of tonnage in the dryer. Not a lot to really notice, but we don't get as much as we do out of the field, it seems like. And well, the final amount we gathered is around 15, 18, 20,000 total bushels. Now I must say, it's not completely like double from what it was last year, but that's a good bit of corn. You gotta remember though, that's just corn alone. That's not adding soybeans or the wheat to it. That's just corn. I think last year it was like 8,000, 9,000, but hey, I'll take 15 all day long, especially with how much money we got from the dried corn last year. We were swimming in money practically. I could have built an in-ground pool, like a 12-foot deep in-ground pool, and then filled it with all the money we made and swam in it. You know, that's a little over-exaggerated, but it does bring in a lot of profit every year. So you already know it's coming when I tell you I'm excited to see how much money we're going to make from everything. Soybeans will get sold in the summertime next year, but the corn and the wheat is going to be sold at the end of this year, at least most of it. All the wheat will, but most of the corn will, I think. And yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what it's going to rake in, because I know it's going to be a good bit. And so the whole baling the soybean straw, we usually do it every single year on every one of our wheat and soybean fields, just because it brings in a little extra profit from selling off the straw bales. I won't say it's super common to bale soybean straw, but it is done, and we do it, and we like doing it. But for this year, for the sake of time and because of how big our soybean fields are getting, we're only going to bale 2 fields. I'll actually just quickly come in here and show you which ones we're going to be baling. So obviously this one right here, the long one, it doesn't seem very like it doesn't seem like a small field, but it's actually our second, or not our second, it's like our third smallest, or I hope I'm saying that right. So like it's our third biggest, because this right here is our biggest soybean field. This one's second. Well, they're almost tied, 23 and 33. They're pretty close, but this one is bigger. 33 second, and then this field is our third biggest field, and 35 is our smallest. So with that being said, we're going to bale our smallest fields and then just chop the straw on these 2. Like I said, it'll save us some time. We can bury some of the residue in the ground when we rip it up, and overall it just seems like a big win for us to only bale 2 of our fields. I mean, usually, like I said, we do bale everything, but this year we're switching up. We're trying something different. Usually we do that every single year, but that's what we're doing this year. Alright, well, that should just about do it for soybeans on this field. We're going to jump across the dirt road to the field across, but we are going to quickly load the semi. I think the semi is actually all ready to head back to the farm, so I think Owen might jump in that and take it back. We're going to dump the rest in the wagons and see what we're looking at. But yeah, this is the first field done, and on to the second. And it looks like Todd has arrived to the field to take the semi back. He also brought the Ford with the fuel tank on it, so I can put some more diesel in this whenever it needs it. But he's going to head back. He's going to empty that thing. We've got the wagons about half full, and with that being said, I'm just going to jump over to this field. This is actually our first time cutting this field, and believe me, I'm very excited to see the results. So far, opening the field up looks very green. That's something we really want to see. Yeah, it looks really good so far up the hill. It looks good still at the top of the hill. It's a little bit of a yellowish color, but it's like in the upper 80s for yield. But I will say that this is a nice looking field either way. I really like the shape of it and the contours. It really looks nice, and it's in such a beautiful spot. You can see so far. You can even see the farm all the way out there. Only problem with where I'm at, other than the view, is the yield is not looking as great down here in the bottom corner, or well, really the back side of the field. The view's amazing, but the yield is not as amazing, though we do have some really good yields up towards the field approach. That's good. And well, of course it turns good again whenever I say something about it. So I also do notice that there are some pretty big rocks in this field, so that's not the greatest thing either. I guess I can't really be complaining after I neglect all my fields with rocks anyway. One thing we will definitely be looking forward to next year is a rock picker, because we've needed one for way too long, and I still have not found one or rented one or anything. I haven't even really tried looking for one, so I'm the one who's neglecting the fields. But anyways, I think we're going to go around the field one more time, just so that we have enough room to turn around, because there are some tree lines, and I just want to give myself plenty of room to turn so I don't have to back up constantly. And I'm about to radio Owen again, tell him to get his butt down here, unload me. Looks like we're about to have some soybeans on the cab. It's getting so full. Grain cart driver's one supposed to be watching the hopper. I can't see it. And well, about time he got here. We'll get him loaded and he can go put this in the wagons out in the other field. Also, Todd should be getting back with the semi at some point. I don't think it takes super long to unload the trailer. I've also never unloaded it, so I think we should have some hydraulic hopper bottoms on there. But that should do it for our headlands. I'm going to get the GPS going and we're going to get this done. And I can say that this definitely works. This looks really good. We're going to get this side done. Owen's even waiting over there at the corner of the field for whenever I get all this part done and have to unload. Then we've got this side of the field, and we're probably gonna have to refuel, and then once again, on to the next one. However, I do think we're going to be trading out with someone. So like somebody else will run the combine and I'll either run tillage or be on the grain cart or hauling grain, or I'll be doing something other than combining probably, because I've cut most of the corn and now I'm doing a good bit of the soybeans. Whenever I get this field done, I'll do 2 of the 4 fields of soybeans we have, so I think we actually might even let Owen run the combine. I'm not totally sure yet. I know Bill and Todd, they both probably want to, but we need to have different people doing different stuff so we can get all of our tasks done before winter starts, because when winter starts it gets cold fast. Winter in Missouri does not play around at all. Tomorrow's highs are expected to be like upper 40s. I mean, if you look at it right now, it's in the 60s, so we're looking at some of the last warm days of this year, or warmer days. And then there's already supposed to be some snowfall this weekend, so we have about just under a week to get the rest of soybeans done and start tillage, and then the snow starts right after that. So maybe you can see why I'm trying to push and get this done, because once that snow hits the ground, it'll be too wet to cut these soybeans. Soil is going to be really hard to do some tillage. We can still run the ripper, but anything else will be really hard on the tractor, so that's why we're trying to get everything done. And I'm back to it. Got the hopper all empty, and he just got done filling the wagons up. And it also looks like Todd just got back with the semi at the same time. We're getting done with this field though. We're not quite halfway done yet, but we are getting it done. And so with that being said, I'm going to keep rolling on here, and I will catch up with you guys whenever we get this field done and we move on to the next one. Well, everyone, it is now December 1st, and we are about to start tillage. But before I do, I would just like to come over here and show you that every one of these bins are full again this year. Well, I say full, I think this one's like a little less than half, and it's only got 25,000, so we're looking at practically all these are full then. Total bushels across everything this year came into 30,000 bushels of wheat, soybeans, and corn, which leads us to the next point, which is year 5 has been the most profitable harvest yet, which, I mean, come on, that's no surprise. Also, Todd and Bill are in the shop working on the 8110, which, as you can see, has had a few upgrades, getting it prepped for tillage and for winter. We're probably going to throw the disc on it, but for now, I'm going to go get the 9320 and we're going to start some ripping today. It is very chilly outside, so I am a little curious to how the soil temperature is going to be, but there's no snow on the ground yet, which is very nice. And either way, we are going to try to get most of this done today because there is snow on the way tonight, so we are up bright and early getting some of this knocked out. And I believe we are just going to come over here and hit this field first, and then we'll work our way through the cornfields, because it is just the cornfields or the corn residue that needs to be ripped. Everything else we can just throw the field cultivator on. So we're going to go ahead and get GPS set up, and hopefully we should be all good now. And look at that, we're turning some earth. This tractor could definitely be pulling a bigger ripper, but this thing works really nice. It digs super deep, and these cutting discs do really great. It's a nice piece. It definitely does get the job done for us every single time, but I would think in year 6 we're gonna upgrade it. Only problem is it does pull up some pretty big rocks, but hopefully in year 6 we will fix that also. Alright, got it recentered. We're gonna go down the field again. And also, I would think this is a really nice time to mention that there's a 16 row planter on the used market right now. We've been debating upgrading our planter to a 16 row from a 12 row, and there's a really nice Kinsey. It's actually quite a lot like our planter right now, just add 4 more rows to it. It is really cheap, and it's in good condition, so we might have to look at the offer, but part of me just wants to wait and get maybe a brand new 16 row or just jump straight to a 24 row. I'm not sure yet. We definitely have the tractor power to do that, but do we have the acres yet? I mean, that's the only real question. And I think it is warming up outside a little bit. It's dropped like 6 degrees. It's already in the negatives, and it's 1st of December, so we're probably going to have a really cold winter this year. Like I said though, no snow, and I'm not complaining. I would say the ground's a little cold, but not cold enough to be pulling this. Well, the tractor's big enough to not be struggling. Coming back to what I said earlier though about bigger ripper, if we really did have a bigger ripper right now, I feel like this tractor will be struggling to pull it in this frozen soil. And also, I know some people are probably curious as to why we do tillage in the spring sometimes, we do tillage in the fall sometimes. The biggest reason is just because it just varies. It just depends on whatever we have time for. Because in the game we are playing on 3-day seasons at a 5 times scale, which means that instead of like 30 days in a month, there's only 3, and the time in the game goes by 5 times faster than real life. And I mean, it always is a good thing to get some tillage done in the fall, open the soil up for the springtime. It definitely improves soil quality, if anything. But I mean, other than time being an excuse, we really don't have a reason to do tillage in the spring. Okay, well, we're about halfway done with the field now. We've even tidied up the edges down here, so we're making some really good progress. As soon as we get this part over here done, we're going to head down the dirt road and go to the fields down at the end of the dirt road, some of our bigger fields. We're going to try to get those done because I have just been informed by Bill that the co-op is coming to spread lime on our fields. We're going to do the fields that don't need lime. We're going to go ahead and rip them up. We're actually going to get an agronomist to come out here and measure the pH in the soil. So like I said, not every field needs it, but for the ones that do, the co-op is going to bring their spreader and put the right amount of lime on our fields. And then so while they're doing that, we're just going to get what tillage done we can until they get finished spreading the lime. And I can already go ahead and tell you, this field right here is going to be an absolute pain. I am not ready to do tillage on this cornfield right here at all, but it is going to be needed. We might just wait until the spring to do that so we'll have a bigger ripper, but we'll get it done if we have time. This whole tillage ordeal it's all themed about how much time we have. Okay, this should be this field done. Well, except for that little stubborn piece right there. I was going to stay behind and get some footage of the co-op coming to spread the lime, but it turns out they're not going to be here for another 15, 30, 20 minutes, something like that. So I'm just going to head on and see how much of this tillage we can get knocked out this morning. Ever since we combine these fields, I usually stop the work at this end of the field, and there's a very nice field approach down here from the other field, so I can just drive all the way down here, and now I'm on the dirt road. I don't have to drive all the way back to the farm or across the ditch, you know. And I believe Owen is baling the soybean straw. I'm not totally sure though. If he's not, he needs to be, because we're going to have to put the ripper on that soon, or the field cultivator one. And so I think we're going to go ahead and get this big field done out here by the dirt road. It just looks absolutely massive, but it really doesn't take a whole lot of time to get it all plowed up. It is big, but it's not like our newest big field. So we'll get this unfolded and get it set up. We're going to make sure GPS knows where we're at and make sure it's all working. We're going to set it down and we're going to get to work. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and let's knock this field out. Well everyone, it is now the next morning, and as you can see we got a little bit of snowfall overnight, but the biggest thing that happened overnight is we got most of our fields done ripping, and we actually just left the tractor out here overnight. And so now we only have this field up here, the giant cornfield, left to do, and then like one more, and then we're gonna unhook the ripper and throw the cultivator on the tractor, I believe, and get our soybean stand knocked out, or stubble I should say. Seems like Bill and Todd are still in here working on this. The 8110 I don't think has ever looked better. It does need a little bit of a paint job, but they even put some new reflectors on there. I didn't even notice that. Or side markers, whatever you guys want to call them. And so this is where we are at currently. We've got tractor in the shop. Co-op just got done early, or no, it was late yesterday afternoon spreading lime. So we have 4 or 5 fields of lime spread. As you can see, we just paid off most of our end of year debt, which was about $25,000 plus whatever it cost to spread lime. It was not cheap at all. And also whatever the tractor cost to repair. I'm not really sure everything. I just was giving you guys a total. So yeah, we have a little more cultivation to do. We're about to sell our grain here quickly. We're going to finish tillage up and finish off year 5 with a bang. And I'm going to leave you guys right here. And I'm going to leave you with a little bit of a hint that year 6 is going to start off with something a little mind-blowing. If you don't know what I mean or what I'm teasing here, guess you're just going to have to wait and see. With all that being said, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.